What's up, everybody? Happy Monday. You probably won't see this on Monday, but happy Monday nonetheless. Welcome to The View by Dudes for Everyone. I'm Chris Miller, one of your hosts. This is Brian Cash, CEO of Max Muscle and co-host. And because this is The View for Dudes, well, who'd your character be? Whoopi?
Yeah.
He looks like a black middle-aged woman with no eyebrows. And I'd be the hot blonde.
Oh my God.
We're going to talk about fat... Oh, real quick.
Introduce Lincoln.
Oh, and this is Lincoln, our third co-host. He's the newest addition to Brian's family in the Max Muscle Nation. And he's a baller. He's a lady killer already.
He's just hanging out, look.
He's a French guy with blue eyes. Can you go wrong? I mean, that's a double...
Edge sword. Ow.
Anyway, subscribe to the channel. We do this every week. This show is a lifestyle show, a fitness show, a show about supplements, about how to be healthy. And it's a show that was created to give you the truth about fitness, supplements, all those things, and to try to distill all of it into a nice, neat little package once a week with two of the most handsome dudes west of the Mississippi. Last week, Brian had a guy come into the store who basically said he had seen the show and thought it was engaging and fun, but also very informative, and came into the store, and you guys were able to help him out.
Yeah, he was expecting Max Muscle South Metro, you know, this cheesy, which is kind of is still cheesy, but it's cool cheesy show. And I guess, yeah, he had asked a lot of questions, and yeah, we felt it was really informative and helpful. So
Well, good. Well, today we're going to talk about fats. I don't know how to really segue into this creatively and funny, but
fats isn't a bad word.
Fat tastes good.
Yep.
It's awesome.
Yep.
So yeah, last week we talked about carbs. So check out that show. Once again, if you subscribe to the channel, you can get the updates via YouTube every week on what we're talking about. But we talked about carbs, and basically if you're dieting or losing weight and you're trying to cut weight, most people cut carbs and cut calories.
Yep.
Which we've both talked
On
about.
both
Are
ends.
both pretty bad, right? So today we're going to talk about fats. So Brian, when people are losing weight and they're thinking of getting back in shape, even for like advanced folks, like Gina's done shows, I've been an athlete, and I immediately like, yeah, it's usually like broiled chicken and broccoli, and I usually feel usually feel terrible.
Yeah, well, where you're getting your fuel sources from, right? That's what you have to ask your question from. So segueing into first and second sessions of this show, macronutrients, where we're going to get our fuels from. We talked about carbohydrates. You know, if we're going to decrease our carbohydrate intake, then we need to increase our fat intake. So fuels have to come from somewhere, and they aren't just proteins. They need to come from either fats or carbs.
Right.
So the reason why you're feeling kind of crummy on chicken and veggies is because you don't have any fuel, right? It's white meat, not a whole lot of fat in that meat.
Would that diet be okay if you weren't working out as much? Because not to say that I'm like working out hard. I don't work out like The Rock by any means, but you know, like a big guy, if you're working out, you need fuel. If you were just like maybe a couple times a week working out.
No, I mean, you still need fuel from something, right?
Right.
I mean, you still need energy from something. So maybe it's not the extreme of taking your calorie count so low and only eating chicken and vegetables, but maybe it's just your macronutrients, maybe it's just less fat, less carbs. You know, maybe you're taking in...
You're saying you're taking in so many fats, but basically where we got cut off was you were saying if you're decreasing something, you got to put fuel back in.
Correct. If you're decreasing carbs, you need to put fuel back in, which comes in the forms of fat, not just protein.
What do you see most people do to compensate when they feel like sluggish?
It's stimulant, right? Whether it's a coffee, a Monster, Adderall, any form of supplement, or you know, things you get the 5 Hour Energy, pre-workout, whatever. So yeah, I mean,
which is dangerous. It's got to be dangerous for your body, right?
Well, at some point, right? I mean, there's obviously there are some benefits to moderate amounts of caffeine throughout the day. I mean, it does benefit you in some form of fashion. But yes, anything to excess, caffeine being one of them. That's why they call it a drug.
Did you know that caffeine used to be, back in the day, used to be guarded like gold?
Really?
They used to have literally like compounds where dudes
would guard it.
Yeah, with soldiers and cannons, and it was
really?
it was almost as valuable as gold at the time.
Huh.
Yeah. So yeah, it is a drug.
Yeah.
It's a psychoanalytic
drug.
Upper.
Yeah. So yeah, as carbs decrease, fuel sources decrease, energy decreases, we find it from something, which inevitably comes in the form of usually caffeine. We're trying to to get it out of the source of fats. And for you, for training, for people, we want fats. And so we're going to put it in usually pre-training. So those meals for you going into 2:30, 3 o'clock are going to be protein and fat heavy. Deriving some carbohydrates from green vegetables and things like that, but I really don't suggest people overcomplicate it and try to start counting those, because that gets a little crazy.
From vegetables?
Yeah.
Okay.
So think of it as simple and complex. Simple being sugar sources, white things, and then complex being the sweet potatoes, whole grains, and etc. So when we're talking about carbs, think in that world, as opposed to what's coming, excuse me, from vegetables. So for you training at 3 o'clock, or for people training in the afternoon, hypothetically, it's proteins and fats for your first few meals going into your training.
Why though? You told me because when you started me out, it's to get your body to learn to burn fat more efficiently.
Yeah, you're increasing your metabolic rate. You're increasing your ability to run more efficiently off either fats that's coming in your face and fats through your training.
Fats coming in your face.
And fats coming in
fat face.
And fats coming in through working out. So.
Because the body wants carbs, right? Like that's the dog's taking a poop on the set. It's little puppy poop though, so it's cute. Huh? He's been putting fat in his face. Oh man. The body wants carbs, right? Though that's like our preferred.
Well, you perpetuate simple sugars perpetuate additional sugars.
Okay.
You eat a piece of candy over Halloween and you don't stop at one usually. One, it tastes good too.
I had like 6 pounds the other night.
That craving perpetuates itself. So not getting into it, but there's hormonal responses and things like that.
That makes sense. So you're saying if you're eating carbs, your body craves what you feed it.
Right.
Right.
Because
good shit in, that you crave the good stuff.
That glycemic index, right? We mentioned this before, gets revved up, but on simple sugars, it very quickly crashes. Right. So I'm gonna put more simple sugar in to get it back up. Crashes. I want more. Right. Kind of like the caffeine. Yeah. You create a tolerance to it. A cup of coffee works for an hour now, or not at all, and then you keep wanting more. So the same kind of concept.
Like in a back alley.
Yeah. The same kind of concept is with carbohydrates in the sense of how it creates cravings and a tolerance per se. Right. So we're putting in healthy fats. Healthy fats coming from avocados, MCT oil, coconut oil, cooking oils like olive oil, darker meats, fish, salmon, nuts, nut butter.
So you're saying to those of you trying to follow along that if you're decreasing carbs and eating cleaner, you want to increase fats for fuel.
Correct.
Where to get those fats is red meats, etc., or oils. Now I got to share a story. Yeah. Because I was a little skeptical of this. Because I used to be. I hate when people go, "I'm an ex-athlete." Or they talk that way, like you're still an athlete. No, you played soccer in high school, dude. You weren't stop saying that. But I played rugby in college, and I feel like I think for most guys, I've said this before in other shows, that if you've played at any high level, you feel like you got nutrition and stuff figured out. Yeah. It's stupid. You're a moron if you think that, in my opinion. Fast forward to today, I get back into this wanting to get fit or whatever, and I'm like, I'll just eat clean and work out. My body can handle it. Sure. And the first 4 days of eating clean and working out, I was a wreck.
But the definition of your clean was pretty extreme. I put you on a pretty extreme from where you were coming from.
So it was like basically in the morning it was like carbs, fats, proteins, fats. So it was like chicken breast, protein shakes with oil in it, etc. So it's super lean.
Is where you are now.
Right.
Where you were was
pizza, bagels,
skip breakfast.
Yeah, skip breakfast and then have like 6 packets of bacon. And I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, so coming from where you were, which most people are there, is transitioning to not eating 6 or 8 meals a day. That's kind of ridiculous, right? There's a lot of things that are from additional research that doesn't necessarily work either, honestly. Right. But eating 3 or 4, maybe 5 meals, depending on your size of adequate dosing, from a macronutrient standpoint, and then putting in, like we said before, branched chain amino acids, some healthy fats, some smaller things to make life easier and more efficient, I should call it.
Yeah, I mean, I would tell people, as I've gotten back into it, try to make it as simple as you can.
Yes.
Right? Like, instead of trying to make it really complex, just for the next week, try eating for your first 3 meals of the day before you work out. chicken, vegetables, steamed vegetables of some sort.
Sure.
Just cleaner meals.
So I would roll through for you for 3 o'clock. If you're training in the evening, let's say after around 5 after work, 3 o'clock afternoon, sometime in there. Okay.
Yeah.
I would say start your day off with, and this is keeps it very simple. Start your day off with about 30 grams of whey protein and about 10 to 20 grams of an MCT fat.
Right.
Okay. Metabolism's rolling, very positive. We're not spiking our sugar.
Right.
To propagate more sugar desire. Right. So we're just keeping flat line at half fuels. Awesome.
So the MCT once again is a healthy fat that's going to give you that energy.
Yeah, and then we're going to go to a few hours later, maybe consume based on size
a bagel.
But it could be some 3 or 4 eggs with some avocado. Some peppers and onions mixed into it,
right.
Some salsa. It doesn't need to be stale and bad. You can put condiments to it and things like that. Yeah. Then going in, maybe have some chicken or some salmon or some tilapia, some red meat, some veggies, asparagus. Change it up.
Right.
You go into your training. You do your pre-workout, whatever that consists of.
Adrenaline.
Train. And then do carbs afterwards.
Right.
And those can be more simple because you want that insulin spike post-training.
Yeah.
Those can be the white
rice.
sources. That could be the white rices or the white breads is an extreme, but the white rices.
Eating white bread is like eating crack. It's like eating chemicals. You're better off eating like a tire.
But yeah, we're getting some simple sugars in post-workout, and then that next meal can be some more complex sugars.
So where fats really blew my mind, if you're watching that, fats can blow your mind, is first 4 days of my diet, I was super tired and pissed off. Like my mom would call and she'd be like, "Mom, it's not a good time. The meatloaf." Just like bitter, and I couldn't think straight. And Brian told me about MCT oil, and I was super skeptical. I was like, whatever. Literally, no bullshit. The first day I take it. Now be careful when you take it, because I took a little too much on an empty stomach, which it clearly says on the bottle, don't take too much on an empty stomach.
Did you go to the bathroom?
Except I don't read directions because I'm a dude. On The View, I'm the hot blonde.
Sorry. Yeah, you needed to remind me.
So it hits hard, right? But like, I'm like, okay, whatever. Literally, and I make a supplement. My company makes a supplement that deals with brain function and energy, right?
Sure.
So even though I was taking that, I was still a little sluggish and feeling just a little slow. First day on this stuff, I take it. I immediately feel just better.
Yeah.
Like immediately, not like, and results will vary. I know that, but for me personally, immediate energy, and it wasn't like, it's not like caffeine. You just feel good.
Yep.
You feel hot. Your body feels a little warm.
Yeah, we've talked about it before, like increasing healthy fats, whatever sources we just mentioned, coming from wherever, not to get too specific, but increases that thermogenic response. So,
increasing fat does.
Yes, it does.
If you're limiting carbs.
Correct.
Okay.
You're increasing that thermogenic response, which is causing your body to utilize fat stores for fuel, as opposed to
That's key for someone watching. So if you're limiting carbs and you're upping your fats, healthy fats, you're gonna boost your thermogenic response, which is gonna help you get shredded.
Yeah, that's gonna lean you out.
So throughout the day, I'm like paying attention, and I do a lot of things that require thought, even though I don't seem like it. Throughout the day, my brain function was great, and then I had been eating super clean all day. And normally, if I do that and I do like cardio, a run or something, Gina, is this camera still recording?
Yes.
Okay. Usually, if I do like a run, I feel terrible.
Yeah.
And it's hard to get through the run. I literally sprinted like a mile and a half. I felt like Jason Bourne. I sprinted to the gym, crushed my workout.
Yeah.
And when I say crushed, it was like very little time in between reps. Gina worked out with me last night. It was intense, right? Like
Yeah.
back to back to back on weights. We super intense, and then ran home and still felt
Good.
Amazing. Like amazing. Like I wanted to call you and be like, this shit is insane.
And that's really it's whole food. It's not a supplement.
Right.
I mean,
explain that.
It is a supplement in the sense that a supplement company is now bottling it and manufacturing it. But it's not a supplement. It's a fat. It's a whole food based fat. It just comes in liquid state. We have it. Other people have it. I mean, it's XCT oil, Mac oil, MCT oil. Bulletproof is a great company that we brought in.
Really legit.
I highly recommend that. I think Matthew Grooms will talk on these, and he really turned me on to it. My staff is much smarter than I am, and they really turned me on to it. And again, I was kind of not a believer, but the science is there, and the feeling is there from a personal level. So
yeah, I even backed off. I didn't even need as much caffeine intake as I normally would.
And caffeine for people that are watching, I mean, they're battling this with this. Gosh, how many carbs? And man, if I take carbs out, I feel like crap. Kind of, I don't have energy. My day sucks, right?
It literally sucks if you want to hurt people.
Yeah. So I know this is very common because I hear it and I see it and I've experienced it. It's one of those things that you have to get your fuel from something, and if it's as easy as just adding oil to a shake or to cooking or to whatever, I don't know why you wouldn't do it.
Yeah, so the way I did it was in my Max Pro protein shake.
Yeah.
My first shake in the morning, I had a little bit of almond butter as well.
Sure.
So I was doubling up on my fat intake, basically. I had another meal with broccoli and chicken, which I put a little bit on it and just almost like tossed
drizzled it in there.
Yeah, like a salad. And then again in the afternoon with another shake, just in the shake.
Sure. Yeah, it's very easy just to drink. You don't have to cook with it.
It almost feels anabolic. Like, it almost feels like
You are kind of doing that from a science standpoint. You are kind of doing that.
I felt like a 20-year-old.
Yeah. You look like you're 40.
I do look. Sex and cigarettes. Did you stop recording?
It stopped. I just restarted it.
I was going to punch you in the ovaries.
You can't say that either.
I'll edit it out. How should we wrap this up? I mean, we've talked. If you're watching it, you get it. If you're cutting carbs from your diet to lose weight or to get back in shape, or you just want to eat cleaner, right?
For men and women that are hitting plateaus, right?
Okay.
They're pretty in shape, but they're like, man, I can't get that to that next level from a vanity standpoint, because we're mostly training for vanity and our audiences too. I would say look at your carb intake and where those are coming from and the time of day in which you're getting them.
Right.
And if it seems off or you think you might want to change that, remember to add fats from any of those sources that we just mentioned.
Right.
It doesn't have to be this bottle. It can be other sources, okay?
Right.
For people that are overweight or wanting to lose excess fat and just get into the rhythm of training and teaching their body to be more efficient.
Right.
Think about not carb depletion, all the things that you're reading in magazines, etc. Don't go carb free. That doesn't do anything. That doesn't do anything for any extended period of time, both mentally and physically.
Right.
So for that answer still is look where you're putting your carbs, start to titrate those down a little bit, but increase your healthy fats. Right. And then don't go to the extreme of, I'm just gonna have 0 carbs and I'm just gonna drink oils and protein
I'm just gonna
shakes.
have 0 carbs.
So just balance that out.
In 6 years.
Balance that out for the person. And you can very easily Google or, nuts, nut butter, other ones other than peanut are going to be the better choices from a nut or a nut butter. We're looking for more all natural as opposed to like the GIFs with added sugar and things like that. Usually the oils on top of those all natural ones, you can kind of identify it that way. Avocados are huge. Dark meat, chicken, salmons, fish, red meat, great fats. Oils as well, both cooking and, you can just drink them. Get your healthy fats in. Yeah,
I'd tell you if you could figure that out, which if you're watching this locally, call the store. Brian, like you said, he does have healthy ninjas here.
Smart people.
Who can answer your questions. So you can email us at info@maxmusclehranch.com. Or you can call one of the 2 locations. The website is maxmusclesouthmetro.com or maxmusclesm.com to get that information. To call the store, just call us. If you have any questions, don't call me because I won't have any answers. Call them. They'll answer all your questions about fitness. You can come in and get your body fat tested, so on and so forth. But I can tell you, listening to Brian and increasing my fats, I feel like 22 years old again in the gym and just working out and my mental capacity, and it's incredible. So this has been The View by Dudes for everyone. Whoopi, the hot blonde, we're signing off. Subscribe to the channel because we do this every week. We also put out product updates on stuff like this each week, stuff in the store and stuff that Brian wants to talk about and highlight. We also do workout videos and stuff like that. So subscribe to the channel, and until next time, what should be our sign off? Stay healthy. America. That's the way the cookie crumbles. Brian, we need a sign off. We need you right now.
Why don't you just have Nathan then?
Bring him over here.
If he pees, I'll laugh.
I hope so.
Signing off, Lincoln, Chris, and Whoopi.
Bye, guys.